Welcome back to the Steam, gentlemen. I'm going to gavel this meeting back to order. I'm Josh, the Birdman, here with the triumvirate, Rashawn, the Three of Clubs, and Greg, the Star Child. I'm going to get this meeting back and running as we continue our look at nostalgia versus nostalgia, what we want and what we don't want moving forward into the brave new world. Before I get started, if I can just ask you to head over to Apple Podcasts and write a review and rate the podcast. It helps more than I can tell you, and it really is appreciated more than we can say. Now, let's get back to it and on with the show.
Before we move on to the other side of this coin, I want to toss out to the court of gentlemen. How do you guys feel about Top Gun coming back?
But it's not like they asked me.
Yeah. Well, they've already. They at least addressed one of the key factors that has changed in the world and already makes it. I can tell it's not going to make it the film that it was. Is that the fact that the Navy doesn't fly F-14s anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And the whole thing of that film is the relationship between the two guys. And then there's there was the whole speech that Quentin Tarantino gave when he was acting in another movie about the homoeroticism going on between all the guys in that movie, which has been brought up and all sorts of stuff.
What are you talking about? I mean, the shower scenes and the volleyball scenes.
Shower scenes. You can ride my tail anytime. Any of that stuff, right? Oh no, you can ride mine. You're right.
Totally
so you got all that. Right. Totally. But but as silly as it all is, the weird setup that makes that movie work is that there were two guys in that aircraft, right? And the banter between the two of them. And now they showed even in the preview, the Navy flies F-18s, right? They don't have F-14s anymore because actually I talked to a Navy pilot a long time back and asked him what it was like flying. He flew both and he was like, the F-14 fucking sucked. He was like,
I was just about to say that. That's the hard part about rewatching. I mean, I love the movie. I'm always going to love it. But anyone who knows anything about the F-14 knows that it was basically like flying a commercial airline and dogfighting.
The direct quote was, he said it was like flying a barn door. That was his direct quote, right? And you're landing, and so that's pretty serious, especially when you're then asked to land it on an aircraft carrier.
I mean, that was the aircraft. I mean, next to anything in Star Wars, I mean, that was the plane. That was the fighter of the 80s.
Absolutely.
It was knocked off in so many animated shows. It was knocked off in so many science fiction shows.
What was the Transformer Starfighter?
Jetfire.
Jetfire. Yeah.
Like it was of the 80s. Did it suck? Yeah, but it's like the DeLorean. Like it wasn't. It wasn't the best, but it's symbolic of the 80s, no question.
Speaking of which, that was on my list of movies I don't want to see remade, Back to the Future, for so many reasons. Mainly because we'll have to actually look at the reason why there's a relationship between a high school kid and a recluse scientist who's also on the side of terrorism because he's making deals with the Taliban.
And the dude almost fucks his mom. Let's just, you just cannot get away from
By the time we get to that, it's not even that disconcerting. That's the weird part. By the time we get to that, it's like, whatever.
She wants to fuck him, and then she nearly gets raped. And there's just so many disturbing things. But all right.
And that's even before we get to the fact that we're just going to go ahead and say that a white man was responsible for Chuck Berry. That's even before we get to that.
Yeah, exactly, right. Because everybody needed so much help, right? That was really clear. Chuck, and Little Richard and James Brown. They needed help. Come on, guys. Come on. We were helping you out. Come on. All right. We'll try and move it into more positive territory. Greg, where do you want to start for what you want to see? Nobody pays to see positive.
Slightly more positive.
Slightly more positive. As positive as we get.
I'm going to start with what I would like to see is more children's animation with political leanings. Based on political leanings or political movements. The Smurfs, Soviet men under Red Father, like everyone was living the same. Everyone just had different jobs. The leader was wearing red and had a big Karl Marx beard. Like, that's the shit I want. GI Joe.
What about the single? Wait, hold on, Smurfs. What about the single female thing? Like, you gotta keep going. Don't leave that part out.
We can work that all day and all night. But I want to give a couple of examples. GI Joe, fantastic. Transformers, excellent. Exo Squad, also a great example. You can even go as far as Captain Planet. You know what I mean? Like, just
it was already
leaning
political.
into politics and just framing geopolitical dilemma in a way that children can say, one, wow, grown-ups are kind of stupid, and two, I understand this dynamic so much more through the lens of animation. When I sit down and watch it on C-SPAN, don't get it at all. Don't make no connection with it at all. But after you watch G.I. Joe, basically every Tin Pot dictator is Cobra Commander. Yeah. And if you sit down and watch, for example, Winnie the Pooh. It's not political, but basically every one of them are a different kind of mental illness. And you have this boy who's going into the forest to just commune with all of his mental illnesses. Like these kinds of things, those sorts of fantastic subtext. We need to return to that in children's animation.
That's gonna, there's gonna be so much grist on that mill. I don't know if I'm getting to sleep tonight. Let's just start there. I don't know if I'm gonna sleep maybe ever again, particularly with the Smurfs.
Yeah. I'm still stuck. Everything you said after I heard, but really, I'm still on the Smurfs.
Okay. But I mean, I hear what you're saying. And I just want to say that part of me may never sleep again, but part of me knows that you just gave Tucker Carlson an aneurysm, and I kind of want to see it happen, like on air. I'm kind of with it. I kind of want to pull back the veil and be like, here is the agenda.
Let's be honest. Tucker Carlson already masturbates to the Smurfs as is, so I don't think we need to worry about what's going to happen to him.
I just more meant that when I think we want to take that political agenda that they're saying exists, and now we're dealing with the quote unquote fallout from Dr. Seuss, and
all of it was brilliant. Even Fraggle Rock. You know what I mean? Like Fraggle Rock, you had these fucking hippies who were running around just like running life, and you had the doozers who were always working, right? And then the fucking hippies would come in and just like smash all their shit. That's a very conservative idea right there. The hippies don't do anything. They don't actually build anything.
But they had the society. What was interesting is it was almost an anarchist view of society because the doozers didn't mind, right? Yeah. There were actually references made. We're like, well, we build and the Fraggles come and eat them. And that's what we do, man. Mm-hmm. So the doozers were kind of chill too, even in their own way.
Yeah, because that's what leftist movements do. There you go. And someone else does all of the work, and these, hippies and fucking beatniks come along, smash everything, and devour the working class. It's fabulous.
I think I'm for it if we can actually get Tucker to have a heart attack on air. I'm
just saying, there's plenty for both.
Even if it's not my thing, I'm like, I'm game. I'll give it a try.
See, the funny thing with Captain Planet is I always felt like it was already geopolitical. It was just very good at not naming names. But let's be clear. I think it's part of the reason why our generation actually moved towards some sort of environmental lean.
Oh, absolutely.
It was the first one. It was because of Captain Planet.
Going to take pollution down to zero.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely, it probably was part of that awakening and part of the fact that,
and all of the bad guys were all, grotesque, snarling rich people or, billionaires that just didn't care about the planet. And they were always, just nasty and snarling. Yeah, because that's essentially what they are.
Except I'm going to get us into trouble here in the episode here because I'm going to mention what I know, Gregory, is your favorite which is Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest.
Oh, Fern Gully, another one.
I know you love that film. I know you love it because of Tim Curry doing his musical number.
Tim Curry and Robin Williams in the same fucking movie.
That's amazing.
How could you? It could only be animated. It's the only way you can contain these two in one movie.
Acid Rain. Yes, a musical number about acid rain. So all right. So okay, I'm with it. You just want to pull the veil back. You just want to show QAnon they're right, and that in fact we are in control of everything, and the children we're not eating, we're trying to program.
We're getting blamed for it anyway. So
let's just fucking do it. Let's just program them through the cartoons. Okay, all right, Rashawn, where do you got? Where do you want us to start off today?
The funny thing when we do lists is that I feel what's going to happen for anyone who's listening to us, God forbid, over time, they're probably going to think we're sitting in the same room, writing the same list, and then just walking away and calling it our own. Because, of course, I have G.I. Joe and Transformers on here. It's number 2, so I'll get to that later. Actually, no, I'll do that now. But what I want to see is I want to see them remade movies, not the cartoons. But what I want is for them to, I don't know, give it respect.
Yeah.
Try a little bit harder. Stop being so damn obvious and bland and generic. G.I. Joe has so much opportunity, so much world building, so many different ways of telling the same story from like 1,000 different lenses. They don't have to keep doing it the same standard scripted action movie A to B to C formula that we've been doing for 40 years almost. It's the same movie. We don't even care who's the antagonist and the protagonist after a while because it's going to follow the same formula. The same redemptive hero who, for some reason is the best of the best, but diamond in the rough, and they just found him. And come on, stop doing that. G.I. Joe has so many different ways. Hell, I would love it if they actually did G.I. Joe, but from the villain's perspective, and not make it so he's some punk like they did with the last couple of Cobra Commanders. I don't care. And same thing with Transformers. You don't have to wow us by blowing everything the fuck up. You don't have to wow us by having things so over the top. You already have freaking robots, sentient robots from a fucking machine planet from light years away. You don't need to do a whole lot more. Just fucking stay there. Go with that. Give me Cybertron. Give me something next to Cybertron. Give me the moon on Cybertron. I don't give a shit. Give me something, but you better not fucking show up and be like, well, Transformers and King Arthur are together. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. I can't stand you all. Give me GoBots if you're going to give me that. And you can do even better.
Actually, wait.
Remake this shit, but give it respect. Villain.
What's that again?
All I'm saying is remake it, but give it respect. I just respect the material a little bit more.
There was a story about Michael Bay where he was showing, I can't remember the movie, but it was a drama in his home, and literally, like, it was this theater full of people, and Michael Bay was just like 5 minutes into the movie, he turns it off and goes, "I'm sorry, guys, I didn't know this movie was so boring. I apologize." And Michael Bay, that's him through and through.
It's got to blow.
Like, he's not. Yeah, that's not just like something he turns on for the movies. That's just all he likes to see: slow-mo explosions.
Here's the funny thing.
And more slow-mo explosions.
Here's the funny thing. The first Transformer movie I actually wasn't against. I thought it was pretty good because it kind of did a good job of taking the first 2 seasons of Transformers. Actually, the first season. We always think of it as 2 seasons, but it's really 1. Back in the 80s, for whatever reason, 1 season used to be like giant episode log sort of schedules, and they would cut it up, and we would just think of it as seasons.